Right, here's the second part of lesson 8, and it was to do with recurring decimals and changing them into fractions. Okay, so we're going to do 0.4 recurring. Now this means 0.44444 and so on and so forth, right? Now, this has a value of one recurring decimal. It's just one of them. If you held it in your hand, you'd just have one of them. So we've got to get rid of this recurring decimal bit. So the way to get rid of that is to first of all multiply it by 10, and that will give us 4.4 recurring. You see, if I multiply that by 10, everything moves up, so I get 4.444444. So you can't actually get rid of the recurring decimal, but you can move the 4 over there. So that will be worth 10 times the original amount. Now, we can subtract them now. Yeah, you can subtract the big one from the little one. So it's like 10 of them taking away one of them. And so the answer there is 9 of them. Yeah, and so 4 recurring take away 4 recurring cancels each other out. So we've just got 4. So 4 is equal to 9 recurring decimals, and if we want to find out what 1 is, we just divide by 9. So 4 over 9, yeah, equals R. If you want to put R, 4 over 9. Can't simplify, but you would be expected to simplify. That's what we do with this. So let's do another one of exactly the same. 0.8 is one recurring decimal, times by 10 gives you 8.8, is 10 recurring decimals. Then you take the 8.8 and you subtract the 0.8, and that is 10 take away 1, which is 9, and that takes away that, and you're left with 8 is 9 of them, therefore one of them is 8 over 9. So what happens when that recurring decimal is not in the first place? 0.02 recurring. Okay, so that's one of them. Now, for this one, what we need to do, we need to get that recurring decimal right up to the decimal point. So first of all, I multiply by 10 to get 0.2 recurring, and then I multiply the original one by 100 to get 2.2 recurring. Now we've got some things that we can take away. So 2.2 recurring, take away 0.2 recurring is 2. So that would be the 100, take away the 10, which is 90. And if you want to find out what 1 is, it's just 2 over 90. And you'd be expected to simplify that to 1 over 45 equals the R. So that's what happens when you've got the recurring decimal that is not next to the decimal point. You've got to shift it up a little bit by multiplying by 10 and then multiplying by 100. Because if you missed out that middle bit, you'd have this bit, the 2.2 recurring, and the 0.02 recurring, and you can't take one away from the other because the recurring decimal is in the wrong column. So that's no good to anybody. So no good to anybody. So let's do another one of those, because say 0.06. We'll put some other numbers in there in a minute. So that's one of them. Multiply by 10, we get 0.6 recurring. That's 10 of them. Multiply the original by 100 and we get 6.6 recurring. So that's 100 of them. Then we've got something we can take away, which is the 100 take away the 10 leaves us 90, and that take away that is 6. So the answer there is 6 over 90, which is 3 over 30, which is 1 over 15. 1 over 15. That was 2, wasn't it? 2 over 30. Terrible. 2 over 13. 1 over 15. So they are when it's not there. Now, the complication, let's put a number in there, see where we go. So we'll have 0.16, just the 6 is recurring, that's 1R, times by 10, we get 1.6 recurring, that's 10 of them, times by 100, what do we get now? Times by 100, we get 16.6 recurring. Now we can take them away. 15, so that's 100, take away the 10, gives us 90R, so we've got 15 over 90. Oh, 50, how many 15s go into that? 2's into 30, so it's 6. So it's 1 over 6 equals R. So it doesn't really matter if you've got a 0 or another number in there. You just have to be careful about when you're shifting things to the left. Now, what happens when both of them are recurring? For example, 0.24. And this means 0.24, 24, 24, 24, etc., etc. Now, if you were to multiply that by 10, you get 2.4 recurring. But you can't get rid of this. See, we've got 2.4, but you've got the 24, 24, 24, 24 there. So you'd end up with that. And that's not going to help you at all. So in this case, when you have a couple of things recurring, what you need to do is go straight to multiplying by 100 to get the 24 over. So you'd have 24.24 like that. So that's one of them, and that's 100 of them. And now we can take them away. 24.24 recurring, take away 0.24 recurring, and that equals 24. And that would be 100. Take away, oops. Take away 1, which equals 99. So you'd have 24 over 99. 24 over 99. We could divide by 3, can't we, both these numbers? So that would be 8 over 33 equals 1R. Right, last one of these little thingies is what happens if we've got 0.354 there. Now this means 0.354, 354, 354. So we've got to get the whole lot over there, yeah? So this time we're going to multiply by 1,000. So that will give us 354.354 recurring. Now we can take them away. Oh, hang on, that's 1R, and that is 1,000 R. So 354.354 recurring minus 0.354 recurring is the same as 1,000 of them minus 1 of them. So that's going to be 999. And this is going to be just 354. So your answer was 354 divided by 999. I don't know whether that simplifies or not, but it was just random numbers, so that's how you do that. Okay, that's it for recurring decimals. So